Envision a vast metropolis with cutting-edge infrastructure in the heart of the American West Desert, with precisely planned highways and streets crowded with self-driving electric cars. A metropolis with the size and diversity of New York, the connectedness and efficiency of Tokyo, and the sustainability and governance of Sweden. A crazy multi-billion-dollar scheme to build a futuristic city with the same scope and aspirations as the Line in Saudi Arabia. Today we'll examine Telosa, America's version of the Line, a future metropolis. Telosa is a planned metropolis that aims to not only be the city of the future, but also a whole different model for society. These proposed megacities are a response to the new issues of today's world, such as overcrowding, pollution, and climate change, and are similar in style to megaprojects like Saudi Arabia's NEOM. In order to build a vibrant city from the ground up that's planned to be inclusive, resilient, sustainable, and egalitarian for all of its citizens, these future cities want to redefine what it means to do so. The word Telosa, which means the greatest purpose, is derived from the ancient Greek word telos. Telosa was thought up by American entrepreneur Marc Lore and was revealed to the public in September of 2021. Lore made the bold announcement to build the planned metropolis of Telosa soon after resigning as president and CEO of U.S. retail giant Walmart. He hopes to create a more equitable and sustainable future that can become a blueprint of future generations through this inspiring endeavor. The world-famous Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, who was previously hired by Toyota to design a smaller smart future city in Japan, will be in charge of Telosa's master planning. According to Lore, the main idea behind Telosa is to build a city with the needs of the inhabitants as its foundation. This is also the main justification for why Telosa is being created in the first place. As it stands, more than 50% of the population of the globe today resides in cities. By 2050, it's predicted that this number might reach 70%. Cities now play a significant role in providing millions of people with access to economic possibilities, research, and educational opportunities. Yet, while the cities have helped a small number of people experience significant growth, not everyone immediately benefits from this advancement. It's precisely this widening wealth divide that Lore and Telosa are attempting to close. The objective is to create a city where everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status or cultural background, will have equal opportunity for development. The core of the strategy is an economic system called equitism, which aims to realize the goal of equality. The purpose of this method is to establish a neighborhood where residents will directly profit from urban development. Telosa will own the entire city's land under this structure, and its residents will have the ability to construct and sell homes on top of it. In an ideal world, land values will increase as the city does. The money raised will subsequently be used to fund public services, transportation, education, and healthcare throughout the city. As a result, the equality objective of ensuring that all residents have access to high-quality services is realized. The people behind Telosa aim to develop the city on arid terrain in the American West in the states of Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, or Texas, though the exact location's not yet been chosen. The city's location somewhere near the Appalachian region in the east is another factor. But why are they proposing to construct Telosa in the middle of a desert when there's so much land available in the US? The fact that there's a ton of inexpensive and easily accessible underdeveloped property in the American West is one of the primary justifications of this choice. Additionally, with Telosa's aim to invest rising property values back into city services, this inexpensive land may eventually pay for itself as the city expands. Telosa will eventually be built on land that's reasonably inexpensive, although it isn't the best or wisest choice to develop a booming metropolis in the middle of a desert. These issues that Telosa might have in the future have been well demonstrated by Saudi Arabia's recent building on NEOM and the Line. NEOM's construction is already running behind schedule. It was initially intended to be partially finished by 2020 and built upon in 2025. It turns out that in order to build on undeveloped desert terrain, operating facilities must first be built in order to house construction workers and their tools in the harsh environment. High heat, water scarcity, and the energy impact of building a new city from scratch in a difficult environment are among additional issues that NEOM and the Line are currently confronting. Also, Telosa will be entirely powered by renewable energy sources. Photovoltaic panels will be installed on the roofs of every building in the city, and Telosa will also be powered by wind turbines that have been positioned in strategic locations around the city's borders. The city's designed to produce more energy than it uses, making it a self-sufficient metropolis in terms of generating electricity. The Equitable Tower, the city's highest building and an iconic landmark that will act as a beacon for the city, will also be at the center of Telosa. An observation deck, an elevated water storage system, and aeroponic farms that will provide the city with fresh produce will all be housed in the tower. Telosa's structure takes into account an urban planning and transit system that allows inhabitants to always be just a 15-minute commute from important sites and amenities like workplaces, schools, parks, stores, and restaurants. Telosa will use a combination of well-planned transportation systems and autonomous electric vehicles, in contrast to the line, which will be entirely pedestrian-centric and prioritize public transit. Aeroponic farms that will provide the city with fresh vegetables will be housed in the tower along with an observation deck and a raised water storage system. Telosa's structure takes into account an urban planning and transportation system that enables inhabitants to access essential facilities and sites, including offices, schools, parks, stores, and restaurants at all times in less than a 15-minute trip. Unlike the line, which will be entirely pedestrian-centric and prioritize mass transit, Telosa will make use of a combination of well-designed transit networks and autonomous electric vehicles. The city will adopt the superblock urban planning idea, wherein heavier traffic is focused over on the perimeter of the block, while cyclists and slow-moving EVs will be given priority on inner roadways. By doing this, two objectives are accomplished. First, individuals may walk between blocks with ease, and second, residential neighborhoods are sufficiently far from busy streets to minimize noise pollution. Telosa's building process will be split into two stages. It's ambitiously planned for the first phase to be finished by 2030. By this stage of construction, the city would be able to accommodate 50,000 people over an area of 6 square kilometers, or roughly twice the size of Central Park in New York. When the second stage of development is over, it'll take the following 40 years to finish building the rest of the city. By this time, it's anticipated that the metropolis will be home to about 5 million people, covering an area of more than 120 square kilometers. Telosa, in comparison, will be larger than San Francisco, but have more than 6 times as many residents living in the same space. The project's total cost could reach $400 billion, with grants from the federal and state governments and prospective private investors providing the majority of the cash. The line in Saudi Arabia is thought to cost about $500 billion, and unlike Telosa, it's entirely financed by the Saudi government and its sovereign wealth fund. Marc Lore and his team must overcome one of the main challenges with the development of planned communities like these: funding, in order to realize Telosa's incredibly ambitious plan and vision for the future. It's not particularly easy to persuade the government and private investors to lend you billions of dollars to accomplish a vision that might not be fully realized. And even if Telosa pledges to be different by stating that its citizens would be at the core of the city's growth, it will still require a significant amount of money to even start this insane megaproject. However, despite all the mounting environmental and financial difficulties, and the fact that more than a year has passed since the project was announced, Marc Lore and his team remain optimistic and committed to realizing their goal of creating the most inclusive and sustainable city in the world by the year 2030. What do you believe Telosa would be able to do that Neom couldn't? Do you believe that Telosa will ever be fully constructed? Tell us in the comment section below. Check out our video to discover more about the line, a new project in Saudi Arabia that has recently begun development. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.